When I joined the party, I embraced the world of political struggle which was filled with women who were like me. Black, Latin, white, Arab, Asian, but all were women who recognized that as women and workers, if we did not struggle to defend our gains and to wrestle more from the ruling class, life for our class would be endlessly wrought with racism, poverty, sexism, unemployment, and war. This was unacceptable to me and to the many other courageous women on the road in which I now travel. I was no longer alone. It's with great pride and privilege that I work with sisters in the struggle like Monica Moorhead, a black woman who ran on the Workers' World Party platform as vice president, as a vice presidential candidate in bourgeois elections. She has traveled the country and the world in solidarity with the anti-imperialist movement, across the country in defense of our class and the African American community to protest racism, sexism, poverty, and war. Or Sister Vera Sperl, no longer with us, who lived in Buffalo, New York. And she was a decades-long member of Workers' World Party, and with other women warriors, fought for and defended the struggles for reproductive right freedom against racist KKK and Nazi activities in Buffalo and Detroit, and was an organizer of the Mothers Alliance, a local organization fighting for welfare rights, reproductive rights, and against evictions, poverty, and racism and poverty. These sisters in struggles were not only my comrades, they were my friends, to whom I could depend, could look to for direction, leadership, and just the pleasure of being in struggle with strong, determined women. Then there was Sister Sahu Baron, another black woman whose theoretical and political leadership, wisdom, and strength brought me further along the road on which some of the most fierce, determined, and exciting women warriors were my companions. Things were definitely looking up. As I look around me and around the world, women like Winnie Mandela, Assata Shakur, and so many other women warriors from across the globe were on the international stage and calling the world's attention to the evils of apartheid, imperialist aggression, poverty, and war on every continent. And as women warriors, each and all were stepping forward to embrace, continue, and enhance the struggle. Today, I have the privilege of working with some of the best, most determined women warriors of this city. Locally, these women provide strength, determination, and the collective wisdom and will to achieve our end, the only end, the defeat of capitalism, the bankers and bosses and imperialists who now rule the world. But I think, and I hope, not for too much longer. Women warriors in Detroit and in the party, while few in number, you want to join us, are mighty in strength and have the will to do everything that is to be done in defense of our class. Chris Hamill, a leading organizer of DANFOR, Detroit Area Network for Reproductive Rights, is an untiring anti-war and anti-racist fighter, and was a determined organizer for workers' rights during the newspaper strikes of the 1980s, fighting against the Joint Operating Agreement, whose real intent was to break the newspaper workers' union, drive down the wages of the workers, and give a single voice, disguised as two newspapers, to the bourgeois propaganda that renders only the news which they decide is fit to print. So much for the free press. Her commitment to and in support of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender communities is yet another expression and understanding of the role that a revolutionary woman warrior must be in these times. She is my comrade and friend, and we travel the same road. Sister Andrea Ejik, an outstanding anti-war organizer and voice calling for the only just solution, a state and national moratorium that will make a difference in the foreclosure cancer which is destroying this city and this country and our class as well. Her voice raising the demands for a moratorium on house foreclosure, home foreclosures, utility shutoffs, and evictions is another woman warrior, pressing forward for and in the interest of the workers and oppressed. She answers the bourgeois propaganda that things are getting better, despite the fact that ever-increasing foreclosures, evictions, and deaths to children, women, and families at the hands of DTE and the energy giants who turn off the services to families' homes on a daily basis. Or the brutal economic assault on our class as the unemployment rate continues to grow. Well, it might be working for the banks and the bosses, but as Andrea has consistently voiced, it ain't working for us. As a single parent, with a young woman in the U.S. military, her anti-war activities are a necessary and correct demand in the interest of our class, for her daughter and for the rest of us. She reminds us that that imperialist wars steals billions for death and destruction, while schools and cities, homes, and our children suffer from deprivation accompanying poverty and unemployment. The voice of this black woman warrior in struggle will ring out until our working class victory is won. I am reaffirmed that I am no longer alone on the road to struggle and victory. Then there is Lee Booth, a voice of struggle for women's rights, workers' rights, immigrant rights, and the rights of the Palestinian people who struggle against the genocidal war of oppression waged by the U.S. puppet Israel in Palestine. She is a many years member of the party. She brings to us her wisdom, her hard work, and a way of breathing life into the past histories of struggle, the Flint sit-down strikes, the early suffrage movement, the struggles against racism and war, which she shared with us in her talks, in her comments and discussions on the events of the day. She has made a difference in the work which she and her partner and husband Phil carry out in the name of Workers' World Party in Ann Arbor, a bastion of petty bourgeois bull and claptrap, as she demonstrates, articulates, and condemns whenever and wherever the propaganda of lies of the ruling class are sounded. She may be older, but she's definitely a woman warrior we need on our side. She, like so many other women, is my fellow traveler.